G'day, listeners. Welcome to Bar Karate, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer, and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, as we love doing. But unfortunately, I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So let's bring him in. First off, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Yep.
How you going, Jay?
Yeah, it's early in the morning. Yeah, I'm good. Good.
You've got the cows in from the paddock?
Yeah, that's it. That's right. It's time for milking.
Yeah, good. No, that's all right. I've got not much more to say.
All right, I'll bring in Bicey.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Top of the week, boys.
Hey.
And Jordan, well, the listeners can't see this.
Yeah.
But I can see the surfboard just tucked in the back corner of your bedroom there.
Yep.
Which you're about to, if you do go run off with that under your arm, you know where you've gone. Because in the last, when are we recording this? Is Sunday morning Oz time. The tsunami warning has gone out about 12 hours ago.
That's
from a volcanic eruption in
Tonga. Yeah.
We wish them all the best, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
But
on a serious note, sure.
I just want to mention, and you'll probably see this today, Jordan. I was in Auckland a couple of years ago when there was a tsunami warning. I didn't know there was a tsunami warning. And I'd gone for a little run along the coast, and I'd never seen so many people in my life down at the coast.
It's
just people going to go see what's about to happen.
That's it.
My advice: if there's a tsunami warning, don't go to the coast.
Mate, last tsunami warning, I was patrolling, Surf Life Patrol, and exactly the same thing. The place was flooded with people coming down the beach to have a look at the tsunami. It's just insane. But yeah, we've got it. So we do have a tsunami warning. My house is in an actual range. So if
that's why you've got your board, right?
Board behind, ready to go. I'm literally, it's not that far. I'm right there. So a little bit nervous, and we've got a thunderstorm. It's pissing with rain. We've got all sorts going on at the moment. So, it's just a quiet day in Queensland.
Just living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream. Yeah.
No, very good.
Very cool.
Thoughts go out to the Tongans and the people in the area, so stay safe all.
And everyone on their boats at moorings and stuff, It's just everyone right through that Pacific region. It's getting to that intense time of the year. Most people have bailed out of there, but if they can, but with the corona, some people can't get out of the cyclone areas as well. So it's an interesting season for everyone on boats at the moment. All right, shall we get into this?
Yeah.
All right. This is an interesting one for us. We've got a no fear in our podcast is probably what I'd say in promoting other sailing brands, sailing media, because we haven't really stolen anyone's sponsors or anything like that. We haven't actually taken any money from anyone, so we're quite happy to promote our sport, as you guys know, right across the brand. And one thing that's been happening is there's a website has been very much into the Australian sailing scene for the last month. They're doing a focus on the Australian sailing scene, and they've also been giving us a bit of a plug. So we thought we'd reach out and see what's going on. So this website is called Phlotilla, spelled Phlotilla. The two principals behind it are Anson, Stookey and John Burnham. And we've asked them to come on the show and just talk about what's going on over in the States, what's going on with their site, and how it helps sailing. So, boys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do we have to speak slower? Can you understand us with your American accents?
We'll try to keep up.
That was said in sync.
As for the listeners, they can just dial it down a notch, down to about 1.3, I've found. On the bottom.
It's funny.
Why don't we, gentlemen, for either one of you, just give us your elevator pitch of what Phlotilla is before we fully get right into it.
Sure. Well, maybe I'll jump on that. So, like Bar Karate, designed to promote sailing, Phlotilla was really engineered to foster engagement and a sense of community within the sailing and boating world, and really to promote that engagement within clubs and classes and fleets, and to try and serve as sort of a central location of or source where people could find whatever information they need. Last week, actually, Bicey, you mentioned frustration about trying to find a sailing calendar and sort of a universal sailing calendar. And that's something that we're working on right now. I won't say that we have met that goal yet, but we've built all the technology for it, and now we have to start populating it. But our hope is that, there will come a time when somebody will, ask, when does the Middle Sea race start? And the person they're asking will say, well, just check Phlotilla, or who did win the Fastnet race? Well, just check Phlotilla, because all the results and all the calendar postings will be there. And that's a small part of what we're trying to do. But providing tools and utility and resources for the community, we're really trying to create a central hub.
Sounds like the old-fashioned almanac. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we've been accused of biting off an awful lot to chew, or boiling the oceans is a phrase that we've heard. But it's an ambitious undertaking. But I think once it's complete, it really will be a great resource for the community that we're all a part of. We all grew up.
Last week, Bicey, it was actually a segue for this, and it was kind of timing that it was done. But I'm super excited about being able to go to one spot and try and find out about regattas all around the world. I'm also excited to find about boats, designs, because you do everything. It's not just a matter of events. It's got clubs, it's got people, it's got media, it's got baccarati, it's got everything there.
So I'm just looking at the page now. So you've got three key sections, right? The registry, and that's where people they go in and register their interest and be part of the community that you've spoken about.
Yeah, exactly.
The news and TV, which is and please correct me if I'm wrong, which is basically a feed from around the globe on anything that's going on in yachting, and then event registration, which I'm guessing is popular in the US, and with the hope to branch out into other countries as things move forward. Is that pretty much the loose plan?
Yeah, no, you cover it well. So the registry is a registry of yachts, of sailors, of teams, and we have a lot of functionality for each of those groups. So we have really nice tools for managing your sailing team, and you basically create your team page. You have a pool of your crew, and then you can invite people for various events, and it feeds in weight and things like, right down to the nitty gritty of what size shirt they're going to need, what size shorts they're going to need. And if they have dietary preferences, if they're gluten-free or vegan or whatever. So, okay, for that regatta, I'm going to need X number of special lunches or what have you. And so it goes deep on tools like that. There's a registry of boats. And for an owner or a yacht manager who puts their boats in, there's some very good tools, digital logbook, digital maintenance log, inventories that can all be kept right on this one central location. We've got basically digital deck notes, if you will. And so all of this ties in together, and we have sailor profiles where you don't need to do this to use the platform, but you can create an in-depth profile of your sailing background, so that especially for some younger sailors who are trying to get exposure and they're fishing around for invitations to do the Sydney Hobart race. And somebody suggests them and they're like, I've never heard of this kid. And you go look at their resume and like, wow, all right, this kid's done some really cool stuff. We should give him a shot. We need somebody. And so we're hoping that over time it becomes sort of de facto that you'll create your own profile and that's where people can get a little background on you. And then the system tracks your performance over events. So say you sail an Etchells regatta on the weekend, and then the next week you're going to do an offshore regatta. It knows that you're registered both on that Etchells and on that other, the boat you're doing the offshore regatta on, and it knows how those boats, finish, and it attributes that performance to your overall sailing resume.
Mm.
Oh, so you could find the best sailor in the world if everyone was on there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You're just going to get
You know what Jordan's doing for the next 2 weeks, filling out all his results over the last 47 years.
Well, I don't want to break the
third
system.
on handicap Largs Bay Sailing Cup. Yeah, 16, 1982.
That's the one. That's the gold right there.
Well, Jordan, didn't you have a run for a while of
don't bring that up. Yeah, that's
sailing?
right. That's right. I would have been world number one. Unbeatable for a while there.
Yeah, tell us about it, Jay.
No, never about us. So then, obviously, before we get too in-depth, we've got a couple of you guys here. So I'll just bring John in. John, you've got a fairly significant background in terms of, Sailing World editor, Cruising World editor, boats.com, yachtworld.com and Boat Trader. And plus all the coaching stuff and all the other stuff. But the thing that interests me is you must have produced a billion words on sailing over the years.
Yeah, there've been a few. I never tried to count them up, but it's wow. I started in the business in 1979, so I've been at it for a while. It's been kind of a new world since I left. I was at Sailing World and Cruising World for, I guess, about 30 years, and then went to boats.com, which was also Yacht World and Boat Trader. And it's like starting all over again. I thought it would be similar, but moving into digital publishing was completely different in so many ways, and had to get back on a steep learning curve. And it's really been fun since. I enjoyed my sort of the print days, but I'm really glad to be in the digital era now. And what we're doing now with this conversation is it would be unheard of 30 years ago. I mean, there might be a radio show that somebody had, but it was not part of the publishing mix for sailing. And so it's pretty exciting. And what we're doing on Phlotilla.news, which is that news section that Bicey mentioned, is where we are taking sort of highlights from around the world. And our audience is largely U.S. right now, so most of the focus has been there. But it's, I think, as a platform grows, we have a content platform that can respond to groups. So if a group of we get college team racing very active, or double-handed offshore sailors very active, we have a platform for them. They don't have to go create a new website. They don't have to create a lot of tools. And I think, and they can make their content available through this news section. So I think, and video is such a big part of, everything that's people are consuming in the way of content on the web. That's why it's a big part of what we do in this section as well. So we sort of curate video from a lot of the channels across the web, the YouTube channels, and we're developing the news. So that was 40 or so years, pretty fast forward, but that's what I've been up to.
So then,
really enjoying this.
For you two guys, Where did the idea come from for Phlotilla? Was it, because you're both on the northeast, you're up in Rhode Island.
I'll give it to Anson on that. He started this.
Well, it grew out of, originally the idea was for a digital version of, a mobile first version of something we had here called the Lloyd's Registry of American Yachts. Mm-hmm. And it had, you could look up any boat by looking at the private signal, the flag that was being flown by that owner, and then cross-reference that flag to find out the name of the owner. And so you'd go to the green and blue section of the flags and find the green and blue flag that you were looking at with your binoculars. And then you'd find out the name of the owner. And then by cross-referencing their name, you'd find the boats that they owned, and you could find out what kind of boat that was and some basic details. And it was sort of a notion of, wouldn't it be cool if all of that was always in your pocket and you saw a boat that was of interest and you could drill down and find out, the history of that boat. And so we decided to create a user-generated database, and it just sort of grew from there. And, one of the things that we've developed is the next generation regatta management tool. And that really sprung out of a desire to have a means of getting more people involved with the registry. But it's taken on a life of its own, and we're pretty excited about it independently. But that's basically how it started.
It's really becoming almost a one-stop shop is where you're heading. It's like you want to go there to have a look at everything. I mean, it's going to be all there eventually. It's growing, as you said, generically. But it's just going to be a place to go to. That's where you're heading, right? Yeah,
and I had a friend yesterday say, if users using it as a tool of procrastination is any measure of success, that we had achieved success in his view, anyhow. I think the section that John's really spearheaded with our news and content, he's done a fantastic job of really making that a place that people can really drill down. And I think, into different aspects of this sport that we all love. And I think over time, what'll be exciting is when a lot of the content that he is promoting on our news site is coming from our users. So there's really great tools within the system for anybody who's a registered user to write a story or post a video or pictures and immediately put those in the news feed of Phlotilla. You check a box saying allowed to be featured. Mm-hmm. If you don't check it, that's fine. It's just on your page and people can find it there. But if you allow it to be featured, it goes into the pipeline to be, for our editors to possibly use it. If it's part of an event, like say it's part of the Bermuda race, it would also go to the Bermuda race feed, and they would also get all of these stories coming in from basically all these embedded journalists. So now instead of having, on the Volvo, you've got one embedded journalist per boat, and in a big event like Bermuda or Sydney Hobart, you might have a few across the fleet. But now every single person is a registered user because they had to be registered to register for the event. So now anybody can, break out their phone and get that video of the bow wave, bow spray while they're going 18, 19, 20 knots down the back of a wave and post that immediately, given that they're close enough to signal. And it will become much more dynamic. So we really look forward to the day when we're featuring a lot of user-generated content.
It's almost sailing's own Facebook, if you like. So instead of it just a bunch of other stories coming in, it's sailor-centric.
Yep, we've heard it called that. We've heard it called, LinkedIn too. We really think here in the U.S., we've only had very early conversations, but they were really encouraging with the Intercollegiate Sailing Association, where if going back to the team management tools, if those sailing teams use Phlotilla to manage, the team, who's going to what regatta, what weekend or whatever, all those sailors will end up with profiles within Phlotilla. And then it goes back to that scenario we were talking about earlier when, young kids looking for rides and trying to get more experience. And it sort of feeds on itself, Brett, which is sort of what you were getting at.
I'm just wondering if we should give you, maybe in Australia, I'm not sure if this is going to translate very well into the US lingo, but you could just call it sailing porn, which is what you call it.
Exactly.
Not sure it'll translate, he says. Probably an international term, I would imagine.
Yeah, but the search might take you to the wrong spots. That's all I was worried about.
Yeah.
It's so for our listeners, they're sitting there going, just to clarify, listeners, we're not taking any money for this. It's not an ad in any way. We thought this was interesting, so there's some value in it. So for the listeners, the value is, one, they can find their own resources. They can find news super quick, which there's a lot of people doing news. They can actually promote their own brand where they can get themselves up and, if they're looking to, find a new crewing spot, they can do that. They can have that resource. Or if they're, for example, trying to build their brand for sponsorship perspective, they could start creating content themselves, which actually drives a lot of people to them. Or if you're an event organiser, you could actually start using Phlotilla and in theory bring a lot more entrants to your event, or actually reduce the amount of management time required to host the event. That's the sort of stuff. It's kind of streamlining the sport is what you're trying to do, I guess.
Yeah, we actually got introduced to you guys originally by a great guy here in the States by the name of Larry Rosenfeld, who you guys know. Yeah. And Larry's been a driving force in the offshore doubles movement and still is organizing the offshore doubles class globally, and trying to provide an umbrella organization. And I know Brett's super involved with the offshore doubles movement in broadly Australasia, and trying to promote it, double-handed sailing down where you guys are. And just as you say, Jordan, the idea of, well, first of all, the offshore doubles will be hosted on Phlotilla. And then teams can create their team page and their sailor profiles. They can promote their sponsors. And by filling in a few fields and uploading a few photos, you very quickly end up with a super professional looking team page and sailor profiles, and do your sponsors justice very quickly and help get them further exposure. And it's built in such a way that you end up with sort of a Volvo Ocean Race type team page with a few clicks.
Love it.
So
cool.
So tell us, Anson, how long has it taken to get to this point? From when it was just a little idea in the back of your head?
Yeah, well, I was in a completely different field, and knew that wasn't where I wanted to end my career. And I had this idea, left there in 2018, and by the end of 2018 was doing this in earnest. And so I sort of hired our first engineer at the end of 2018, and since then we've brought on a couple more, and have just been plowing through. If we were smart, we would have done this in like tennis. because the
that's
the registration for events is crazy.
Yeah.
Because no two events run exactly the same in sailing. In tennis, it's like, is it men's or is it women's? Are you playing doubles or singles? And what surface are you playing on? And we're done. But in sailing, it's
have you double vaccinated or not?
Yeah, it's crazy. All the permutations of sailboat racing. And so we've had to build our race management platform to accommodate all of this. We're almost there now. We're about to launch our team racing and match racing modules. And after we do that, we'll have a couple of additional handicap rules to add in, which are not difficult the way our platform's built.
But it's that complication, Anson, that you're talking about that makes sailing such a, I guess, hard sport to track. Unless you're right into it and you've got every Facebook feed and every form of group involvement, that's the only way you get feeds, right? Or you're sitting on the internet full time looking at the race websites, or you want to know about this one or that one. So as you say there, by doing all of that, you're taking that away and you're making it so that people can actually get more and more involved. And that's what I like about it. And that's where I'm seeing this just growing nonstop.
But we hope people will start using the news feed capability of the site. In the meantime, I get to focus on whatever I find interesting, which is an editor's prerogative, I guess. But one of the things this past month with Anson, I think maybe he was talking to one of you guys, came up with the idea of an Australia-focused month. And, it took me back to the times I've covered a couple events there, and just got me back in touch with a different perspective. So, I'm not going to talk like you. I'm not going to look at the world exactly the way you guys do. But it was just great to sort of put myself in the place of the sailors in Australia, and to think about some of the content that you're engaging with, and sort of then translate that a little bit for our U.S. focused audience.
The world's getting smaller, John. That's what it is, right? And in terms of technology, in terms of bringing that accessible technology to people, is being done with this, is being done now.
So,
yeah,
John,
absolutely.
I've got a question for you. So, 2018, Anson has this crazy idea. Let's just bring all this stuff in together. And, John, can you just go sort it out for me? Is that kind of how it worked?
Exactly.
Well, I don't work on the back end. If something's not working, I'll talk to his engineers. But Anson has a big idea here that has grown, and since I got involved about a year and a half ago, and we came up with this little idea of doing besides doing the content on the page, doing a weekly newsletter to start to engage people in coming to the site. And that's become a significant job, because it's like doing a little magazine every week. And it's really fun, and it's gotten me. I'm not creating the news. I am writing news periodically, but it's more that I'm curating the news.
Awesome.
I see when you're a weekly, you're not reporting every day. Okay, so and so just finished the such and such race. You're watching a few videos, you're looking at a couple different news sources and deciding what's interesting to people, which gives me some freedom to sort of look around. And it's Anson and I have come up with some fun ideas. Like a couple months ago, we started profiling marine photographers, and Anson turned our homepage into a gallery for the photographer. So Andrea Francolini's photos from Australia are rotating through the homepage. That didn't exist 2 months ago, so it's kind of the part of the interest and challenge in doing a startup type project and seeing how you can grow it.
John and I are really lucky because we'd be sitting around twiddling our thumbs right now if it weren't for a guy by the name of Fred Darnell. So Fred is the master engineer behind all this, the architect of Phlotilla. So we get to, build castles in the sky and say, hey, wouldn't it be cool if it could do this or it could do that? And we found this guy who's an absolute top flight technologist who's, prior to this, he managed one of the largest banks in the U.S., their migration to the cloud. He's built a very impressive drone company and all the technology behind that. And he's a sailor, yeah. And one of his hobbies is he built and flies his own experimental airplane, but he also has boats that he has. He'll buy these beater boats and turn them into these awesome, beautiful things. And he
doesn't have time for that anymore, though.
Sorry, Anson. I've got this experimental airplane in my mind. I can't get that out of my mind. Experimental airplane. That's a really interesting term.
Yeah, it only has to do one of two things. One thing, right? Fly.
I guess it's a term for kit-built airplane.
Yeah, gotcha.
Sounds cool.
It's a pretty cool craft.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's the kind of guy he is, but he's the guy who builds all this stuff. So we get these crazy, wild-ass ideas, and he then actually goes and makes them a reality. So that's the unsung hero behind it all.
Can I suggest in that sort of circumstance that, what if we did this? The lubricant or the facilitator of the best ideas is having a few beers. I must admit, Bossy and I did a lot of idea work that way for about 6 years together, where we spent most days working on ideas.
We had some bloody good ideas, but we can't remember them.
You just got to keep someone in the room sober so those ideas get translated. I've got a question sort of for both of you. Obviously, you're passionate sailors. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone down the sailing path, exactly as you said. So what events, what boats turn you blokes on most? Like if you're sort of, say, for example, John, if you're sort of having to put together a story and you go, this is the story I want to read most, this is the event I want to know about most. For both of you, which boats, which events are the ones that really rock your world?
Well, in my case, I run a 2-boat program as it is. So I have difficulty breaking away from my own race schedule, my own cruise, to get on other boats, which has occasionally cost me, the chance to go sail on some pretty cool boats. But I love one design sailing, keelboat sailing in these classic lead mines, as we call them, the International One Design class, which was a 30s spin-off of a 6-meter that Bjarne Jøs, a Norwegian designer, did for Corny Shields. And then there's the Shields class, which is a big class here in Newport.
Yes.
And I'm the fleet captain right now. And I think my results are suffering as a result. But we've got 30 boats registered. These are 30-foot boats. And it's just a remarkable gathering of here in Newport of some great sailors when they're not off sailing the Sydney Hobart or some professional race. A lot of them are out there, and so that's probably my favorite sailing right now. When I get a chance to, I haven't done a distance race for a while, but I got to do the Bermuda race on Dorade, the 1929 Sparkman and Stevens yawl.
Oh, yes, and there it is again.
About 10 years ago. So that was a real highlight. I was one of only 3 that didn't get seasick. The boat really does roll like it's like it's supposed to, but I came close. I have to admit. So those are, but for me, what I love about sailing is that it is a lifestyle, and it's it's one that my kids don't race, but they enjoy sailing. They like coming along with me. I've got a grandson now who's going to be 2 this summer, and sort of just teaching him how to row, and maybe not this year, but soon, that's what it's all about for me.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Well, it's sort of a 2-part question of what I enjoy following is I think this offshore foiling stuff is just bonkers. Foiling your way around the world at whatever 30 knots or however fast they're going now. I mean, you guys know you were building those boats, right? But I love watching the epic distance race stuff. As far as what I'm doing myself, I'm with John. If I'm going racing, I prefer to do one design racing. Just because I'm not in a position to do the arms race of handicap racing.
Yep.
So I'm a little excited. Today I committed to do there was a time when I did a lot of racing, and I had to get out of it for a while for, family reasons. My kids gravitated towards a different sport, and I had to support them in that, but they're off to college and still pursuing that sport. And now I'm have a little more time to go sailing. And just today I committed to do a star regatta. So there was a number of years where I did a lot of star sailing. Mm-hmm. We have a Tony Ray here in the States. You guys have one as well. And so the U.S. Tony Ray and I did our first Olympic campaigns together.
Yep.
And then I did a subsequent one with a great guy, another very close friend of mine, Howard Schiebler, and he and I are going to do the Star Masters in about 2 weeks down in Miami, which should be really fun.
Nice.
And Howie is famous for the less he sails, the faster he is. And so it's been over a decade since he's been in a star boat. So I have really high hopes for this event.
Yeah, fantastic.
Him and Jordan should get together.
I reckon.
Imagine that boat.
Jordan would be just awesome with Howie.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming, Jordan.
Oh, dear. Hey,
The links you get, hey?
the other question I have for you is a cultural one. This could even be a feature. So, for example, at the end of the day or when the presentations come on, one of the things that sort of blows us away when we look at, particularly on the northeast in the US, is that you'll see a bunch of blokes getting a photo and they'll have on their blazer, they'll have their tie and they'll have a pair of red shorts on, right? And that for us is like, what the hell is going on there? You could almost do a feature on what is the standard attire in different countries, because Australia, it'll be a pair of board shorts and, your team shirt, I guess, is probably it. But, I'm just intrigued, how did that thing happen with the States?
So, but it's my recollection from 1987, doing a Wednesday night race at, I think it was on the Swan River.
Royal Perth.
Yep. Everybody had to wear white shirts and shorts and no logos allowed.
Correct.
So
it's the old Wimbledon tennis thing.
Let's talk about uniforms and explain them to each other.
Oh. I love it. Just push back.
You are allowed to go bare feet in the bar at Royal Perth Yacht Club.
Yeah.
So
They're evolving.
That sounds good.
That was.
I think we're just following. I think we're just following Australia in our uniform.
In etiquette. Sailing etiquette.
Yeah, exactly. Things seem to be loosening up a little now. I think, Jordan, you're referring to like the awards presentation of the Newport Bermuda race or something.
Yeah, things like that, yeah. I think because you could do the Italians as well, like the Italians, they'd turn up with all the slick back hair and they'd have a fag hanging out, a cigarette, I've got to translate, a cigarette hanging out there, and polished belt buckles and all that sort of stuff, like you could actually have quite a bit of fun with that. You could get people sending in a few photos, some of the idiosyncratic outfits.
Well, Tommaso would be all over that.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the Swedes would be doing. Just but be a lot of attractive blonde women in the photos, so that'd be good.
But it's fun in Bermuda at the end of the Bermuda race when all the Americans try to dress like Bermudans.
Oh, yeah.
Have to go.
They don't have
no
quite the
socks
right socks.
Never really pull it off, do they, John?
Well,
So, I mean, this is all part of the fun you could have if you're doing it yourself. Like, so people contributing could come up with some sort of theme like that could run, I guess.
Yeah.
I think
Actually,
we could do a
John
month of
asked
socks.
month
Socks
of
that
socks.
sailors wear.
Well, you've got the Kiwis with the red socks, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got the Bermudans with their long socks, and the Americans trying to pull that off as well.
you got the Aussies with no socks.
Hey,
I'm taking notes.
Tell me, just recently, Aussie Month has featured on Phlotilla. Can you see any data? Like, how's that gone in regards to take up, people accessing the site? Can you see that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's been great, actually. So we've been trending up each week, but we saw big jumps every week, bigger than we'd seen before. And so our last 4 weeks of Australia Month have been our best 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And each successive week was, significantly better than the prior one. So it was a huge success. Well, you guys were really helpful. You introduced us to Andrea Francolini, whose images on our homepage are just fantastic. John wrote he's an interesting guy with a really cool story and has some interesting pursuits outside of sailing. And John wrote a really nice piece interview with him. So that was good. And the introductions to, Mark Bradford and others on the various boats allowed us our intro piece that Sean McNeil, a really good sailing writer in Newport, put together. That was when it ran, it displaced a prior Sean story as our number one story. And then I think
that was the preview for the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Yeah,
and then when Blackjack's the line honors story became our number 2 story of all time.
Wow.
And I think I don't remember which one, but there was one of our Australia stories that was a huge success. So I think 3 of our top 5 stories are, Australia Month focus stories.
Yeah, right.
Well, that just goes to show the market's there and it's the demand is there. So that's a good thing.
Well, more Australians like going sailing and reading about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's great timing too for us because things cool off here for a little while, right around the end of the exactly.
That's an understatement.
So, Anson, with all the super duper engineers, is this helping drive, like the data that you see, is this helping drive the strategy as well? Like you're seeing trends that you didn't think you'd see, or it's kind of panning out the way that you initially thought in relation to where people go, what they have access to, how long they spend on each page or whatever it might be?
Yeah, we're only now developing the tools to really analyze that. And so we're taking Google Analytics data, and we've built a bunch of tools around that to specifically help us, manage our business. I think, Bicey, it'll be really helpful once we have a larger data set. And we've been really focused on building all the tools and getting a complete platform. And now that we're really close, especially on the yacht racing side, to having an absolutely complete management platform, I think as that traffic picks up, we'll get really good data that will be really helpful in driving the business. But we look forward to building, just as robust tools for voyagers and cruisers, or those going on sabbatical, for a year. Today, when people go cruising, take the year off from work and go sailing, they start a YouTube channel and a Facebook page and maybe a WordPress site. And what we're developing is one platform where they can do all of those things and post here, and it populates those other social media outlets. So we're just as committed to the cruisers and the voyagers and all the rest. So we just haven't, those tools are yet to come. We're building them now.
We're in the same boat. We must admit we're interested in the cruising side of things as well. And obviously being passionate sailors, we sort of, every form of sailing and the escapism associated with cruising is good. But the question I would ask, and again, another idea for you guys is it mandatory if you're going to go cruising nowadays that you have to have a hot missus who only runs around in a bikini that you film? Is that it's just insane, isn't it? I wonder what the logic with that is.
If you're trying to drive those YouTube numbers.
Yeah, that's the difference between a vlog, a YouTube channel, or a podcast like our Ugly Scones.
We've been sitting here in G-strings the whole time. It's never done anything for our rating.
It's never done anything for us.
Yeah.
Do we call
Actually, we have really, because we follow a number of those sailing YouTubers pretty closely, and some of them. What's really interesting, and I think John and I have experienced this, and you guys probably feel the same way. Is you started out and you felt like, okay, we're doing a pretty good job, but the quality of the work improves, and if you watch early, Sailing La Vagabond or Delos or any of those. Yeah. They're good. Sailing Uma is one that very quickly got up the learning curve, and their productions, I think, are fantastic now. But all of them that have been at it a while, get the hang of it, and the later ones are generally, have higher production value, if you will. And I think we're probably all feeling that. You guys probably feel that way about your podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, we purposely. We purposely keep it loose. We don't want to sound professional. That's not Aussie at all. It's
got to do too much research for that as well.
And I must admit, watching all those cruising things, I've seen a whole area where they're missing. Where you could make a huge, success out of it. There genuinely is elements that I think a lot of people in sailing would love to see that they haven't picked up on yet. But I'm keeping that one secret. Just trying to save up for my boat now. The Barker 80 cruiser, we're going to have a couple of VXs, and we'll have the catamaran going around the Pacific. But yeah,
are we?
Yeah. Well, we've got everything going on BP.
Oh, have we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Don't you need 3 hulls for three?
Yeah. Well, actually, we get on pretty well. We can all sit on the same hull and have a few beers. We go fine. Fine.
They're trying to sell the Sailing La Vagabond Outremer. Maybe you guys can just pick that baby up.
Yeah. I saw that. I'll be honest. I do watch one of them purely because of the boats. I mean, all the personalities and stuff, I sort of get tired of it a bit. So it's the boats that I look for. So the one with there's one that does Outremer 55, which, my wife has told me I'm allowed to have one of those, and she'll come with me. So I watch that one religiously just in case I can ever get the money for a 55. But Barker 80, it costs us money, doesn't make us money. So I don't think that's happening soon.
Well, as for myself, the only bit of watching I don't get much time for that, is when there's the odd boat on Peppa Pig. But that's about it. With the kids watching their stuff.
Do you guys have Peppa Pig? Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, no idea.
Oh, you get onto it. You'll love it.
Basically,
Okay.
kid show.
Little.
Takes me out of my YouTube watching.
Yeah.
All right, John, we have something we have to look up now.
Yeah, no, don't waste your time.
Yeah,
don't
bother.
It's just not worth your time. It's just basically like an entry-level Sesame Street, I guess, is the best way to understand it. Yeah, cool. So with your sort of whole program now, What can we look forward to seeing next? What's the big thing for Phlotilla?
Well, we've got the largest keelboat regatta in the Americas is Charleston Race Week, and we've got that coming up in end of April, beginning of May, and so we're looking forward to that. And we just signed up another championship with U.S. Sailing. We've done that before with them. And so the word is getting out. We have not spent $1 on marketing. We've been totally focused on building our technology. And but, we're working with some really prestigious clubs, and we've got a few clubs that are using it exclusively for all their events now. And we have individual events that are tracking us down. And pretty much, I think we'll just see more and more adoption. So that'll be exciting.
So, John, you're behind the laptop on a daily basis. Are you seeing feeds in particular that are aimed towards your audience, or are you dealing with other editors in as far as their websites and their content that are trying to push into the US? Are people using it strategically?
At this point, no, we're not seeing a lot of other editors involved. I'm seeing, as an editor, I'm certainly getting, some attention from PR specialists, and Phlotilla has become recognized as another outlet for whether it's product news or race information, whether it's new boats or something that's we've gotten a lot of interest in is electric outboards and electric power for power boats, and that's something that was kind of a surprise. I'm interested in it. I started covering it, and it got a lot of attention from our readers. So we found sailors really are looking, because most of our readers are sailors at this point, but they're interested in certain kinds of power boats, and that's they like utilitarian power boats, and they like classic looking power boats, and they like alternative power boats. So it's been fun to track that, and feels like it's starting to move fast too, because the automotive industry is moving so fast into electric. So stay tuned for more on electric.
That's good. I think just on the PR front, just because we get hammered by PR people all the time as well, have you been introduced to Australia Post yet?
Sounds like I don't know. Do I want to be?
No, God no.
Just unsubscribe.
Emails a day. Go on. Sorry. Go on. Anson, you were going to say something, mate.
I was just going to say we did get, an incoming inquiry from Seahorse Magazine, and so now we're launching a little bit of a partnership with those guys, which is great. And it was nice because they recognized what we were doing and reached out to us, so we were happy to achieve that anyhow.
So I've got a quick question for you. So if I'm a yacht club or an event organizer, what's the way for me to start using the platform? How do I get the best out of it, the most out of it?
Well, right now we're working with event organizers and yacht clubs, on a hands-on basis, but the platform is built to be fairly self-serve. So once the credit card processing has been connected from the organizer to Phlotilla, we use Stripe, like PayPal. Once that's been connected, they can run as many events as they want. For example, Sail Newport is the group. It's a community boating organization that's based in Newport. It's run by Brad Reed, Kenny Reed's brother, Kenny Reed from North Sails. And Brad and a guy named Matt Duggan, who runs all their regattas, were instrumental in helping us develop Phlotilla. And we made sort of all the obvious changes to the incumbent systems, and then went to them and said, what are your other points of pain? And we worked with them for, a year or two, ironing out all the, all the details to get to the system we have today. But they just run regattas. We don't even know. They just hit the calendar and there's another regatta up that they're running. And so once you're connected, you can just keep running as many events as you want. It's very simple to post an event, and all the tools are fairly self-explanatory. We are working right now on doing a better job of, we have a help section, but what we're doing is adding to that, and then also creating videos for each of the help topics. And so I think once we have all that, it will be truly self-serve. And it's really easy to use.
That's very cool. Yeah, we know those boys really well. Hey,
well, I've got one mission for you, and all the Aussie sailors out there will 100% get this. The crew sign up for so in Australia now, every crew needs to be signed up for, even if it's a twilight race or anything that it is, just for and what are they? And there's a host of various apps, Member Point app, all these different apps that different clubs use, an absolute ball ache. So if you can just streamline that service, all of Australia would be very appreciative.
That we do that. We do that.
Yeah. You never know which app to use when you go to each club, do you?
Oh, God.
How many different apps are there?
Well, the Member Point app, I think there's a choice of maybe 20 clubs out of the 350 in Australia. So there's bound to be at least 28 more.
Right.
But it's quite cumbersome, let's say.
Yeah.
Oh, Anson, let's get Fred right on that, okay?
Yeah. Just stop, Fred. Stop what you're doing right now. We don't care about the playing just for the minute.
The experimental plane.
Yeah. Oh, I'm interested in the plane. By the way, boys, just as a heads up, for a bit of a interest sake, I've got your website scrolling. I've got the homepage of your website in the background as we're talking, and it scrolls through some photos. Just so you know, I'm certain there's an Etchel photo. Looks like a start of some Etchels, and the Etchel front and centre. I'm sure it's its headboard of its mains above the black line,
and it's 13 centimetres over the line.
Yeah. Bloody cheat.
Yeah, but are they white?
Oh, dear. All right. Well, I mean, this has been a ton of fun, boys. We've been happy to sort of see that sort of Aussie month and hook up with you boys. I'm guessing that now we're all mates. We're going to hang out and support each other. It should be good.
Yeah, no, we have really enjoyed working with you guys, and I think Aussie Month's going to have to be at least an annual affair at this point.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, well, it's a good time. I mean, there's so much going on. We're going to talk about a couple of things coming up, but the sport is a big passion in our country. Yeah, I mean, numbers have declined, but not. We're still. There's still so many people, but I think the cruising scene hasn't declined at all. I reckon more and more people are coming out into that. And for example, boat sales here in Oz, like the minute you put a boat up for sale, that's a cruising boat, it's sold within the day at the moment. Like it's because there's nowhere else to go. No one can go anywhere. So people are buying boats. So we're back. Our sport's back. Or it could be just us because of us.
I think it is.
Yeah, here we go. Hey, gents, I love what you've done, and you mentioned it at the very start, Anson. It's the promotion of a sport that we love, and that's what we're all about here as well, and by creating something that's a complementary platform to the world of yachting, or boating for that matter. So, yeah, my hat's off to you. And since Aussie Month has started, I've been scrolling through the pages and checking it out. And, I love it. Really good.
Great. Well, we'll look for sailor profiles on all you guys up there shortly.
Oh, Jay's
Jordan's
probably
might
on.
take a while.
Don't know
The
why.
long
Just
list.
because Aussie month is over at Phlotilla, keep us posted on what we should be covering, because
Yeah.
it doesn't mean we're going away for 11 months.
No. Well, there's
Well,
still.
while I've got you, there's this fantastic race called Adelaide to Port Lincoln Blue Water Classic starting on the 19th of February.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'll be sure to send you something there, John.
That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Commodore.
That's
Vice Commodore.
Vice Commodore to you,
Vice
Anson.
Commodore, which in Sweden translates to the shit Commodore.
That's true. Look it up. Vice in Swedish.
Yeah,
Righto.
Okay.
All right. Cheers,
Hey,
fellas.
Thanks, lads. Thanks for coming on, and
All right.
See you guys. Thanks
luck.
for having us.
good luck with Phlotilla.com. Cheers.
BP, you found these boys, the Phlotilla boys. You were onto them early, whispering in our ear about those guys, and we've got the connection now, and they've been passionate supporters of bar karate.
Yeah, I mean, Bicey, you sort of tapped on it last week. You segued without realising it. And
I'm a professional, mate.
I knew it was happening.
You know, all our planning, like we kind of mentioned something a few weeks in advance, just to get
That's
everyone
right.
fired up.
That's right. We sort of knew it was happening. And but anyway, the whole thing about trying to find, places, events that are going on, and and clubs and information about sailing in general is very sporadic. It's all over the place, and it's not easy. It's not easy to find what's going on if you're not in that, Facebook feed or whatever it is. And that's what they're trying to achieve. And I reckon over the next year or so, I think we're going to see that we're going to have one place to go, and I'm just all for it. I love it.
I mean, sure, we crap on and we joke a little bit about, and by all means, we're 100% serious when we say we do bar karate for the love of the sport
Yeah.
and to try and grow the sport. And that's what we say, and the listeners don't know this, but before the guest comes on, that's one of the things that we specifically say to them. And it's the same conversation with these guys. So, yeah, my hat's off to them. It's, fantastic.
I think
they're positive dudes, and they're just moving forward and chipping away, and let it grow. That's what I say.
Absolutely. I think, before we move on to our next topics, I think the thing that when you do get onto the website, to our listeners, when you go and have a look, it's really in depth. There's a lot of information that you can put in, and a lot of stuff you can obtain from it. So I think it's going to grow more, but I think it's what you can get out of it. If you're a young sailor looking to get some recognition or get your name out there, I think it's a good step forward. We're always talking about how do you get in? Well, you have a good attitude, but how do you get in with a good attitude if you don't know the people? That's the hardest part. And so this is probably a good step for that, because eventually these boat owners and these teams are going to start using formats like this to find these people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Me likes.
All right.
Me likes good.
We've got heaps of other stuff to talk about, boys. We've been inundated this week on club events. Holy dooly. Everyone's doing club events, obviously in Australia at the moment. So let's just run through a few. Chris Dean.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Competitor.
Hey?
A competitor.
Yeah.
In the VX world.
Indeed. The Flurio Classic 22, a.k.a. Christie's to Hobart, the HMAS Hobart, which is a vessel that's moored there, or is it in the water? Is that a diving?
Sunken off, yeah.
Sunken reef, yeah.
Yeah, Christie's to Hobart, yeah. 5th and 6th of March, 22, two-day event. You race one day from Christie's Beach down to Wirrina. Wirrina. Sorry, I've moved away too long ago.
Shall we sing it, BP?
Yeah.
We're in a holiday mood.
We're in a holiday mood.
The race 2 is from Wirrina to Christie's Beach back. So trailable yachts, keel boats are eligible to enter. Great weekend, socialising, racing, barbecue, banter. And bevy.
Just wondering how I'm going to get me golf sticks on the VX.
It's true.
Strap them to mast, mate.
I did a half
golf
Ironman
course.
try.
Good golf course down there, by the way.
Stick them in the end of the boom.
So all Adelaideans or SANs, for that matter, get on board.
Cool.
Christie's to Hobart.
Another one. John Humphreys, contender national champs at Gosford Sailing Club. Yay. January 17 to 21. Strong fleet, including multiple world champions like Mark Bolker. Why haven't we asked Mark Bolker on the show? He's a freaking superstar, that bloke.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we?
Yeah, Matt Mulder, champion 14-foot skiff sailor Lindsay Irwin. Jesus,
Well,
Lindsay.
there's another name.
Yeah, sailmaker. And local legend Brian Bucket Pike.
Oh, good old Pikey.
What a nickname. So, yeah, that's a big one coming up at Gosford Sailing Club, 17 January 21. That's a good one. And then
Ever sailed a contender?
Yep.
Never.
Yeah. I used to be...
I spoke to a mate, to Barthy the other day who sailed one. I was like, yeah, what's it like? Do you tip pretty much? He goes, well, picture this. It's basically a laser with twice the sail area and a trapeze. So, bloody oath, I'll tip it in.
Yeah, tip it in non-stop. They're easy to tip in. I sort of did a little bit of my later teen years with Andre Webster, who went on to be world champion in them. So got to know them pretty well. Steve Brayshaw came through as well. Old mate Steve Brayshaw. Mm-hmm. Next weekend, 22nd through 24 January, 4th edition of the Ronston Regatta held at Macrae Yacht Club on the Mornington Peninsula. Clearly the greatest and largest of off-the-beach regatta in Australia, with 155 boats entering last year's event.
Clearly.
This year's numbers are looking to match, but entries are capped at 155, so don't miss out and enter ASAP. Ronston do put on a really good show here at this one. We're mates with all the Ronston team, love them. They put on a free dinner for both nights, plus a few free sports waters for each competitor, not to mention prizes for the winners. So it's all about fun and enjoying the best sport in the world. Hey?
A pair of Ronston gloves.
Yeah.
My favourite.
No, it's great
good
spot
regatta.
too. Yeah.
Yep. Load the trailer, get your boat down to Macrae.
Yeah, great
and
spot.
Steve, he guarantees me he's going to give you a discount for a beer.
Oh, for a beer, right.
Yeah.
Dear. He might be our Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week too, because there was a bit more to that.
No mites about it. Stephen has taken out the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week.
It was funny,
Now,
wasn't it?
listen here. Have you read this, BP?
Well, I just did read it, and I don't know what numbers he's bloody talking about.
So, firstly, this is direct from the email. Firstly, I'd like to say congrats to BP on winning next year's Sydney to Hobart double-handed division and IRC overall, winning by 20% according to his computer. Now, you and Steve have a bit of background here in your virtual racing. Hence, this is the final line here. I hope it's not the same computer you used to play virtual sailing, or you might still be out there.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yes, got him.
I am still out there on my virtual computer, but I'm just getting practice for this next year's Hobart.
A little dig. Beautiful.
It was great.
Beautiful.
That's great.
No, I always love a challenge, Brayshaw. Trust me.
So, and Stephen, sorry for missing your call last week, but we'll chat this week about a few other things coming up.
Good work. Love it.
Is he going to get?
Sorry, BP. There you go. Go on.
I was just wondering if he was going to get a merch pack.
He may or may not.
May or may not.
We might have to trade some Ronston for some merch. Okay. Here you go.
It's hot time with Bice.
never goes away, does it? It's just great.
Rightio, boys. We spoke about it last week. The exact title has just eluded me. The 12 days of 5-0 Christmas.
Okay.
Gents, we've spoken about it. You can put your votes in. People can still put their votes in via Sail Dashboard. Go there, check it out. I want to ask you guys, what's your... this is for the cover, remember?
Cover of the book?
This is for the cover of the book.
Yeah.
What are you choosing?
Yeah, I've got a selection here. I was listening to you guys off air and you rabbited on about some numbers. I like number 4, and the reason I like that is because there's 2 colours on the hull, so that's really going to confuse them at the start line. It's the green boat or the yellow boat. I don't know.
That looks like... Number 4 looks like...
It's the same as number 2.
It's Pete Woolman's old boat. That's Pete Woolman's old boat, and I reckon that might be Keezy and... Oh, fuck, bloody. Sorry, mate. He's going to kill me. I've got a mental blank.
Obviously, they know the
Darryl Roos.
they know him because they got in there twice.
Well, listen, I like that shot. And there's a couple of reasons why I like that shot. Obviously, the colours, because they're not going to know who on the start line when they cross the line, whether it was the green or yellow boat. But they're really setting up nice for that wave. They're looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good photo. Love it.
No, I'm with you. I like that. Or number 6, similar angle, just full send mode.
Yep. The big thud down there.
5 doing its thing.
Which one? Number 6?
Probably,
I like that.
Yeah, that's a great photo.
Possibly the second or third best off the beach dinghy class around.
Yeah.
But
cheeky bastard.
Yeah, no, okay. So we're in for. Well, then you go to number 3 as well. They're looking good there. They might stop on the next one though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's a bit of a theme in that angle, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a photo exactly like that on the wall too. Yeah.
The only problem I've got with number 3 is he's not full flat. He's expecting something to happen very quickly.
He's probably just.
Jordan, you're the 50 expert. Give us your
I like number 11. Holty and Carl, it looks like. They're former world champs or multiple world champs since the last, I think they've been world champ for the last 3 or 4 years because it hasn't been run. It's good for colour, good picture. You know, the boat's just cruising away from the fleet. And they normally sail really high on the downwind, get that apparent wind up and come away. But it looks like they're doing the sail low mode there, so they probably hate that photo, but I like it. It's a good one. So anyway,
so listeners, check it out, sail-world.com. You'll see it there, and you can vote away.
Or on the International 505 site as well, is where it's hosted. Sail World have got it on, obviously. Yep, everyone's having a look.
Or Jordan's Facebook page.
Durgal Henschel put this book together. It should be a pretty impressive book. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay.
Rightio. Next topic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was to say, we're talking about Rourke here, the transatlantic.
Yeah.
If I was to tell you, there's been a sailor over the decades that has had more than one issue in this particular piece of water, not to mention this race, what name would run by your mind?
Well, it's pretty. The first one that jumps to mind is Alex Thompson.
No, Alex Thompson is there. I was sort of thinking potentially someone like Oxley, but no, I think Alex Thompson is where you're going to here.
Yeah, Alex Thompson, first retirement out of the transatlantic.
Oh, really?
He's having a crack in a gunboat this year, so he's jumped out of the Hugos, as we know that he's stepping away from the Iamaka for a bit, and he's gone straight to the gunboat. And the catamaran, and then straight to an island. So,
to an island.
I don't know the ins and outs, and it was a bit of tongue in cheek there. But there's been a couple of retirements out of the race itself. But while we're on it, we might as well give a little talk about the race.
What's the general weather been like?
The general weather has been. It's not normally like this.
No, I've never seen it like this before.
And the standard. I think it depends, obviously. 30-odd boats, a few of those, the super-duper tries that just basically battled it out all the way to the end. And, I mean, the delta difference for a 6-day race is minimal for those tries. So, basically, those 3 tries match raced all across.
Yep.
Archie, by the time people listen to this, would have just finished at first mono hull and followed by Trifork, the Volvo 70.
Modified Volvo 70, yeah.
Of which, Comanche, when you check out their, you mentioned something earlier, Jordan, you check out their strategy, and what was your exact words again?
Well, just important point. I'm just looking at the leaderboard. Comanche got 10 mile to go, so they're literally, we're calling it as they're coming to the line, but our old mate Will Oxley, who we're a massive fan of on this show, is one of the great navigators of the world. He's phoning it in for this one, surely, because everyone went quite high north. They went above the run line for this race and then came back on down. And it looks like Comanche everyone's going up there. Let's have a look. Oh, no, let's just stick to the red line. Just stick to that little rum line. They've literally just sailed along the rum line the whole time. It's hilarious. So
you reckon he's gone from straight from the Hobart, which would have been a navigator's nightmare, to this one where he's just sitting downstairs.
It's time for a rest.
Yeah, wake up. Where are you, boys?
RDO.
Come up 3 degrees, lads. You're off the line.
Yeah.
And when you look at the course of Trifork, for example, navigator Axel Magdal, who world famous for winning that leg into Rio with the late start on E3.
A good man, very good man.
He went well north.
He likes going well north, doesn't he? He went well north in that leg as well.
Yeah, because it's not normally like this.
Oh, yeah. It was a little awkward off the start.
Because he'd never seen it like that before.
Yeah.
So 30-odd boats. Like we said, it's been run and won. Well, not on IRC yet, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that, and we'll be sure to share some of the stuff.
But a week to sail across the Atlantic from the Canaries, hey? How's that? That's just smoking.
It's interesting at the moment in IRC overall. If you look at it, Comanche is obviously leading at the moment. Then you've got Jangada with a rating of 1005. That must be a little double-hander or something. There was a couple in. Let's have a look. There was a couple in the double-handed. And I'm right.
Yeah.
Double-handed in for second overall at the moment.
Interesting. It must be all down to the autopilot.
It is. Because you can only win a yacht race with an autopilot. That's how you roll.
Keep in mind, if IRC manages to stay the way it is now with Comanche, that'll be 2 wins for the Comanche.
Yeah,
in
a row, it's never won before the Middle Sea race, so it's never won on rating before. So, and it's probably got the record too. 7 days or 8 days now, it'd be close to the record, I reckon.
Mitch Booth, Mitch Booth. He might have to. We might have to hunt him down and get him on.
How's Mitch doing this? Like he must be. Where's the extra hole? He must be.
Maybe that's why they're winning. So maybe that's why they're winning.
No, he actually basically on the side decks drew like the deck shape.
Yeah,
and a tramp, and
then put a tramp across the cockpit.
They strung a tramp across so he feels at home. Oh yeah, no, we're good. Why is this boat here?
Why is this boat so wide? This catamaran, literally.
Dear. Cool.
Cool. Rightio, gents. We spoke to a bit of banter with the boys that we were speaking to regarding Phlotilla about the different attires that people wear.
Yeah.
And we crapped on a bit about Bermuda and all everything that they get dressed up there in the northeast. Now, there's been a team that is entering the America's Cup. And they will be donning themselves the New York Yacht Club necktie, which I like to call it, like a little knit just over the shoulder look, and just a little knot just on the chest.
The blue jumper.
That's right, the little knit. The New York Yacht Club necktie.
With the red pants, the white shirt, and the blue jumper, and the blue dockies.
All right, so who's representing, boys? Who's representing New York Yacht Club in the next America's Cup?
Well, it was Stars and Stripes, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay.
No, we've done a backflip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So American Magic.
We've come back to the Magic. We like that. We're happy with that.
It's obviously getting some momentum. The Cup in those circles in regards to owners and people wanting to keep it going and things like that. So it's good. We like it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no.
I still think there's a behind the scenes thing going on, and they're all into it, and they're going, righto, what's the next thing we can do to keep the publicity going?
Yeah,
that's what I reckon.
Oh, okay.
Do you quietly think they're just crapping themselves about Sail GP? And how's that is gathering even more momentum, and they're going to do 10 regattas next year. And literally, the sailors are going to struggle to do both.
Yep.
Yes.
So
they are.
It's going to be you're either with it or you're not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the next big one, right?
It's going to be a big decision for a few of them, isn't it?
I don't think Stars and Stripes are out either. I think they're still undergoing. Not sure if they've got the funding yet, but from what I hear, they're still trying to keep going. So we've got a few mates on the American Magic squad, so that's good for our mates. So we're happy. But geez, yeah, I don't know. It's. I think the interesting thing was Roger Penske. Do you remember Roger Penske,
Yes.
the motorcar guy? He's dropped out from.
Has he?
Yeah, so I'm interested how that will all play out. Obviously, he didn't like it, but I think with
Just didn't like it.
well, maybe, but with the learnt knowledge, and the way to describe it is the American Magic team's pre-disastered. So they've had their stuff ups. They're good now.
They've had their run.
So my question,
Go on.
so you got Ainsley linked with an F1 team.
Yep.
You got Bertarelli linked with an F1 team.
Yep.
We
Italians?
had
The Italians?
American.
Italians are linking up with Ferrari.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, as opposed to the New York Yacht Club necktie, is American Magic linking up with a NASCAR team and they're going to run mullets and planos?
Mullets and moustaches.
I think they're linked up with Boeing. Same sort of research.
Yeah,
Aerodynamics is what that's just telling you that it's all about aerodynamics and
Well, there was
word on the street, the link with the F1 teams because they've got salary caps in the F1 teams.
Okay. I got
and
it.
they can only have a certain amount of engineers.
Yeah.
But when all the engineers work for this silly boat race thing,
Yeah, I got it.
working on cars,
Yeah, that's
I
the
mean,
good
it's
one.
the biggest raw in super white rich man sport in the world.
Genius. However, that is brilliant. I hadn't even considered that one. That is just brilliant because you're exactly right. They've brought in monetary caps in Formula One for next season. So,
Yeah,
wow.
got to have them still working.
that's
Yeah,
right.
wow.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
You heard it here first.
I could just see I could see young Ty.
May or may not be true.
Yeah.
Mate, allegedly.
That's a funny looking boat you're designing there. Oh,
front wing for the the downforces. Oh yeah, right.
the other bit of news was Malaga in Spain.
Putting their hand up.
Oh, BP, you'll be over there, won't you?
Oh, great place, Malaga.
Is it?
Great place. Yes,
It's
lovely,
not far
lovely.
from where I used to hang out, but
Where did you used to hang out?
Alicante.
Oh well, it is actually. Well, it's a bit of a hop, skip, and a jump.
Well,
Just past the little lake.
yes.
Not-
Mar Menor.
Not bad for Ineos as well. I'm sure there's a direct flight from bloody one of those sketchy little towns in the UK down there. Bars open early.
Straight to Alicante. They can all stay at Benidorm.
Yeah, that's it. No, Spain are super keen to make it happen, which is great because they put a heap into the old the ocean race. So the Spanish, great sailing nation, and yeah. So if they get it, it'll be good. Nice weather, nice people, nice place.
Yep.
Good.
Oh, down there is It would be,
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, a lot going on in the America's Cup world. So happy with that. Yep.
mind you, Valencia wasn't a bad cup.
Get over it, BP. It's over.
I stayed there 10 years waiting for it to come back. Please.
Oh, dear. Righto.
What else?
Rightio. What else, man? No, that's me.
Oh, okay. Good
Hot
one.
time. Done.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Five topics.
Boys, I got to highlight something. So the A-Class Nationals have been on in Australia at RQ.
That's Royal Queensland for our international.
Oh, yeah, Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron, yeah, been underway. And our friend Caroline Brower has been doing lots of posts on Facebook showing the photos.
Been seeing that.
Yeah, yeah. And so they have two classes nowadays. They've got the flying class and the classic class. So Steve Bruin won over Bundock, which is mighty impressive. And James Clark from Western Australia at a Nedlands Yacht Club, which is where I actually first started racing, lads. The mighty Nedlands Yacht Club.
Geez, you're travelled.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Grew up in Papua New Guinea.
That's where I first started racing. First steered a boat at Netherlands Yacht Club. Great little club. Very sentimental for me. But, boys, here is the most impressive performance in sailing history occurred.
Forever.
In our sport, right? Are you ready for this?
I'm super excited.
In the classics, Andrew Landenberger won.
Yes.
With a first, and dropped 2 firsts. Okay, right? So
I think he won it.
that is mighty impressive. But do you want to know, but it's been done before, right? We all know that's been done before. Do you know who came second?
Andrew Landenberger with a second, dropping 2 seconds. Am I right?
Do tell.
Andrew Landenberger.
There's only one classic.
No. There's a heap. So Andrew Landenberger came first, and Andy Landenberger came second.
Wow.
So I'm assuming it's his kid, but for the purposes of the joke, he's sailed 2 boats, came first, gone back out onto the course, and sailed the race. And
he was so quick.
Yeah.
He did the race twice.
Yeah.
Oh, good on him.
I love it.
I was only joking. I was only joking.
Not see?
You pretty much nailed it with your joke, but BP.
Well, I haven't got the results.
Second, fourth, second, third, fourth, third. I retired 2 third. Obviously, couldn't make it around the course on race 3.
It was tired.
Did I see at some point there also, Bundy had some issues with his rudder gudgeons or something?
Yeah.
And Caroline, she was kind of a little behind the stakes in husband or wife of the year status.
Yeah.
So she lent her boat to husband.
Yeah, that's right. Race 8.
Yeah. So that's that'll always come up. Who's doing the dishes tonight?
Yeah.
Guess it's me again.
A lot of love.
You're taking me out to dinner tonight, aren't you, love? Hey? No? Yes, you are.
Oh, dear. Cool.
Good.
That's it, isn't it? Is there anything else, boys?
No, things are just starting to ramp up. Well, we got Sail Melbourne.
Sail Melbourne, yeah.
Yep. We got Sail Melbourne kicking off. We got Festival of Sails coming up. So things are starting to, out the back of, the hype over the mighty Sydney to Hobart, starting to come back. So, and especially down in the southern states, got the VX Nationals, of course, coming up. So we got a busy couple of weeks, boys.
Okay, gentlemen.
Follow, but
I
believe you do have something. Yes.
I've got something. Okay, Sail Melbourne, right? So we've got everything, got all the lasers, the 420s, 70s, 9ers, wind falling, so the windsurfers.
Yes.
The kite falling and the wing foiling, the wing dingers, wasps, and then tasers, RS100s. Okay, here's, we've mentioned in the past, so I just did this from an interest perspective, we've mentioned in the past that maybe the Olympic Committee has missed out on not having the wing foiling as the new Olympic class, right?
Can we just call them the real name? Just wingdings.
Wingdings, all right, the wingdings.
It's just easier.
The dingers.
The dingers.
The dingers, all right, the dingers. Have a guess how many dingers are sailing first time around? Like they've literally just started racing.
I'm going to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have a guess. I don't have any numbers in front of me. I don't have this up on my website. I'm going to have a guess. Here we go. This is a stab. I'm going to say 33.
No, you're stabbing. You've overstabbed. It's 19, 20.
Well, that's all right. That's good.
Yeah. How many? Okay, guess the kite falling.
4.
It's
well,
10.
you've bookended it. I'll say that.
It's 10. So on the wind fallers, so the windsurfers on foils, they're a bit over 20. So
they're a solid group of lads.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all good.
No, they're the training up here they're doing is insane. The boards are insane. That is going to be an exciting class to watch. I'm
saying the kite falling is not working.
That's what I'm saying too.
Although wind dinging racing won't be very exciting, I wouldn't have thought, but they don't travel super quick. The dingers.
The dingers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just want. I just want.
But
I just
a shitload of fun, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
And,
super fun.
I just want at the next games for them to get in there and the commentators call them the dingers.
We'll be the commentators, BP. Here come the dingers.
You've said that for everything else.
I reckon potentially the beverage of choice might be a little bit different at the laser table compared to the dinger table.
I dare say.
Yeah. No, it's interesting though, just from the perspective of, I mean, no criticism of world sailing at all, because let's be honest, no one seen a dinger race before.
Called this one,
For a month ago, but it just, as soon as we saw that photo out of St. Francis in San Francisco, about 3 or 4 months ago,
You were onto it.
It was just like, oh no, this is because St. Francis is the home of the foil, kite foilers worldwide, basically, and the fact that there were none of the kite foilers out and it was all winding, that was the lesson right there.
Well,
so.
I mean, as I said to you, I think last couple of weeks ago, I think every Wednesday and Thursday night up here, there's races organised, and there's 10, 15, even more boats, boards, wing dingers going out.
Yeah,
dingers. There's 10 or 20 dingers going out having a ding around.
It's dinging. It's a ding off.
It's dinging good.
Yeah. Right. Well. So interesting times.
By the way, just one thing to mention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matty Warren's going okay in the lasers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's dropping a win at the minute after 8 races.
Yeah, but
is he coming second?
Yeah,
as well?
I was just going to say, unless he's coming second as well, he's not there. The standard's been set now. The Landenbergers are the ultimate sailors.
Yeah, you've got to be coming second and first in the regatta to be even thought about by Barkarati.
Dear. Anyway, right. Well, that's it. Another good week.
Yep.
We got an interesting one next week as well. So I'm keen on that one.
Good. Who? No, we won't tell anyone, do we? Anyway, I don't know. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Hey, just before we go, I just want to give another quick one. That website that we talked about, had on the show, Phlotilla.com.
Are you getting a kickback, BP? We don't take money.
What the hell's going on here?
No, we're getting a bucket load.
When have we ever done this?
We're getting a bucket load. We're getting a bucket load. Phlotilla.com.
He's not stopping. He's getting some under the table stuff here.
By the way, Teakle Classic taking part.
Farx2.com.
Oh, what is going on? Oh, by the way, you idiots, I sent you a little brief for the BK one. Can you two have a read and just say what I've missed? And so we can...
Nothing.
BK one. Good.
No. All good. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
well done, boys.
I'll see you from Indonesia next week.
Oh, you got a holiday out of Phlotilla, did you?
I've got a holiday out of Phlotilla.
I tell you. Yeah, good luck over there. I guess it's you and me next week, Spencer.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting in a hotel room with nothing to do.
Actually, I'm doing the commentary for the VX1 Nationals. I think COVID's killed off all the camera crew, so I'm not sure how we're going to do it.
Or did you?
Like, genuinely, the camera crew can't get there, so I'm not. But we are doing. I think we're doing some coverage next weekend. So 21st through 24th. Just go onto Facebook.
Check it out.
Yeah, we'll share it. We'll share the link somehow. But yeah, the VX1 National. So yeah.
Well, good luck, everyone.
Well done.
My way.